Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today we continue on with Field of Glory Empires. And if you've been following the series, I do apologize. We haven't gotten back to this one in a little bit. I was gone for a bit, and then also War in the East has been taking up a lot of time before War in the East 2 comes out. But I do want to get back to this game because personally I love it. I think this is a great game, and I think many of you would like this one. If you get into it and you understand it. So I'm trying to cover the basics. I don't think we'll take it all the way to the end. Well, who knows? I don't know. I'm having fun playing it, and it doesn't cost me anything to sit here and talk about it while I do. And so maybe we will continue on. It's a great game, and as you see here, we are the Arverni. The Arverni, a Gaulish Celtic clan, and we have expanded. We're trying to put together what would eventually become Gaul and then France to some degree. Now you can see we're also over here into, I guess that would be Switzerland, modern day anyway. But yeah, we've been expanding our empire. We took out one of our rivals here to the east, and then we have another one we're at war with right now to the west, and we're also at war to the one in the north. So we've got a lot going on. We have our army positioned up here to the north. We had to drive the Parisians out. Now, the Parisians are out, well, they're a client state of the Galli now, so they're kind of teaming up against us. The Aquitani have really been knocked down a peg, but they're still dangerous because they have a very good general, or at least they did. We'll see if that continues. So let's go look at each of our or I should call them regions, I guess. You try to put these regions into provinces. And if we look at the province map, you can see we have quite a few of what would become Gallia, if we could put it together. Now, you have to have more than half to form the province. We're pretty close to that. Actually, I think if we took this region, we would have more than half, and that may be something we decide to do. Now, this is a tough region to take because it's got a fortification, even though it's only got an independent tribe defending it, which is not a big army. You do have to also breach the fortification. It takes a few turns, and so we just haven't gotten around to it. Neither have the Galli, because we've been putting out fires all over the map. We've also got some things up here in what is the province of Aquitania. Of course, the region of Aquitania is controlled by the Aquitani. Imagine that. But hopefully, if we can beat them in this war, we can put Aquitania together. Now, you may say, well, why would you want to do that? Well, provinces help in that they pool resources. And so if you have a shortage in one region, that can help. If it's in a province, it can draw off the other regions. And also, you do get a special army unit that is only provincial. It's not anything that you can get unless you actually have formed the province, and that's why they are important. But let's get back to our regular view here, the ownership overlay, and see what we've got going on in each of our regions. We are building Celtic craftsmen here. We've got a pretty good food situation. We could even maybe move this down to culture. Mm, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. We need to be adding culture. We have got a very bad culture score, and eventually that's going to catch up with us if we don't start doing something about it. So we'll move this guy down too. I try to always keep these around 10 to 15, positive, of course, 10 to 15, maybe even up to 20. Hey, if you can build buildings and you're not using any manpower to create, 50, excellent, awesome. But when you still are using manpower to create it, as long as these are at 10 to 15, that's a good mix, and you can start moving your citizens down. Here it looks like we had the presence of pestilence. Not good, never good. We did finish cattle pens here, and cattle pens and Celtic craftsmen are two of the special buildings you get as a Celtic tribe, and they're both very very good. They're very beneficial. They give you quite a bit. Cattle pens gives you food and infrastructure, and you see here we're getting bonuses. It's giving us 5 food, 9 infrastructure just for that one building tile. So that's very good. Now we can build another one. How close are we to our limit? We've filled up 7 of the 8 slots. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Now we have plenty of food and plenty of infrastructure here. We can start moving our citizens down. As a matter of fact, why don't we go back down here and do that? Let's move this citizen how about down to culture? Okay. And we'll move this citizen also to culture because we're doing quite a bit of money here. We're creating quite a bit of money because we did build this caravan house, which is very good for money. I think yeah, we got 7 because we do have the cattle bonus here. And then what's the other thing we have? We have the market, which also was giving us 5 money. And then we've got 2 citizens here. So we're cranking out 30 gold every time. That's excellent. Let's kind of even these up a little bit though. So now that's 16 and 15. Generally, you want to keep your slaves to the top 2, and you want to try to eventually move all your citizens down to the bottom 2. That's generally speaking. You got to do what you got to do early on with your citizens as far as um, cranking out food and infrastructure to build up the region. But as you keep building more and more of these building tiles here, then you can start moving them down. Actually, let's go back to this because we can build something. We could build a vineyard or a smokehouse, and you can see the advantages that that would give you up here. I think a tavern actually is quite good here. It's not very high upkeep. It only costs 1 infrastructure to maintain this building. We're getting a lot of bonuses, cattle and honey. Now, if you don't understand, now we would actually have to trade, but these are very close places. And you can see by the color, you could go out here and find. So the green Renus is out here somewhere close in the green of the Raietae. And then here, Septimania would be down here by Massalia. So they're very close. They will not cost us a lot of money to go trade for. Now, I've had some questions come up about the trading. If you need something, so if the game says you need wine, the game will go get that for you. So the trade mechanic, it will go get it and it will pay money for it. Now that will be reflected up here in what your balance will be from building this building tile. Um, but it is costing us money. So as soon as we can get wine in one of our regions, that's the best. You want to be trading with your own regions. Now, the other question that comes up are these bonuses. How do you get a bonus? Well, this comes from this comes from the trade goods that are in all of the regions contiguous to the region we're looking at. So we're getting a bonus from cattle and from honey. Why would that be? Well, let's go to this region here and we'll go to the trade goods overlay and there will be cattle and honey somewhere close. Let's see where they are. Here is cattle. Okay. We actually have cattle in our own. Oh, that's it. So we don't even need to go out here and look. This isn't even one away anyway. It's actually in our own region, the region we were just looking at. When we build this building, we've got honey here and we've got cattle here, and we get those bonuses. We would also get them if they were in any of the contiguous regions to, well, that's not one. It's got to be touching. Any region that is touching this region, you will get those bonuses that come with a building or that you get if you build that and they are in the regions right around you. So I think we will build that tavern. That looks pretty good to me. We will build up some more money. That's a real money producing region. That's excellent. Let's go back to the ownership overlay. Let's go down here to Asara. Now we're about to get a building tile of stud. I think stud cranks out horses for us. It does. Produces horses. They can already be imported, so you could see that. A single nearby structure would produce more. Okay, so what this means is once we produce horses, that's a bonus trade good to a building in one of the contiguous regions. And you always want to think of these regions, what's touching this region because they all build off of each other. Now, I don't think you need to build a spreadsheet and say, okay, I need this and then this and this. I played this game, numerous times and, conquered most of the world and never did something like that. You can kind of just eyeball what bonuses will we get, what do we need. So when the stud builds, that'll be great. We will get a bonus in a neighboring region. Down here, we just built something. What did we build? Celtic Craftsman again. All right. Now, what's one advantage of the Celtic Craftsman? You see here slot usage. We only have so many building slots. It only goes up to the number of pops that you have here, both citizens and slaves. So the number of pops is the maximum number of building slots, and you see it there. We have built 2 of 3. Why can we build 3? Well, we have 3 pops. So we can go ahead and build another one. Celtic Craftsman did not count against that limit. That is just sort of a special bonus you get with certain buildings. You'll always see them ringed, or I say ringed, I guess squared in green. So let's go up here and look at what would be good. At farm, we get a lot of food. We get the bonuses from wool and cattle, which are in neighboring regions. So all resource bonuses that we could possibly get from a farm are met. We could do Clearwater, which has a 0 slot usage as well, and is a good one to pick if you don't have another good option. Um, we could get 11 infrastructure and produce stone if we do a quarry. Now that comes along with a health penalty because having a quarry is not healthy. All right, makes sense. Stables, it needs horses, but of course we will also be, producing horses very soon here. That one's okay. Furnace would give us a little bit of money, a little bit of metal. Now we can look up here. This is metal. We're +7 per turn, and we have, a pretty decent stockpile. We're not in desperate need of metal. And then finally, you have the monument, which gives you a lot of culture. It does not take up a slot, I guess, on the theory that you could operate in and around a monument. It's not going to get in your way, so it doesn't take up a building slot. It does increase the decadence in this region. We don't really have a way to counteract that right now, so we're going to try to avoid anything that increases our decadence. I think the farm is the wise choice here. It will take 5 turns, but once we have that, we can really get these citizens moving down because we'll have a lot of food production. Okay, here's our capital region. Region Arvernia is receiving 1 slave. Okay, now that is hurting our loyalty. The more slaves you have in a region, the less loyal it would be. That's not a great situation to have in your capital, of course, but it is what it is. Now we have built a quote unquote slave market. That slave market, when we have over 500 gold, which we can look at this, I think it tells us this here somewhere. It doesn't actually say it here. When we built it, it said it. I'm sure it says it somewhere. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But what this market basically does will allow you to start moving your slaves around to other regions. As it is right now, they always go back to the capital. That really hurts you for decadence and loyalty. But as we get over 500 gold, which is a requirement for the slave market to start to operate, once we have that, then we will be able to move those around, get manpower out where we need it, and also up our loyalty and lower our decadence here. As it is, this setup looks fine to me. We'll just stay as is. Now we got a new pop here. That's the symbol for new pop in this region, a new citizen in this case. 11 and 6, we're building cattle pens. Now, if we move down here, we increase the number of turns of our population growth. but we decrease the cattle pens. Now, cattle pens here are going to give us 3 food. We're not getting any of the bonuses. They're just not in any of the contiguous regions. Um, let's move that back up there. That was fine. Here, we're again doing a stud, so we will have a lot of horses rolling around our empire here soon. This all looks good. And then cattle pens. All right, we are cranking those out. We'll also get a new pop, it looks like in 1 turn. Now you may ask, what are you using to decide what to do here? Well, as I said, I try to keep food somewhere in between 10 and 20. Same with infrastructure at the start of the game, and put as much manpower in there as needed to keep it there. And then you start moving your citizens down and trying to keep everything kind of even. Now, eventually, you'll have enough buildings that are cranking out food and infrastructure that you can move all of your pops down to producing money and culture. That's a good spot to be in. So that's where we're trying to get to. Now, what are we doing with our army? We're not building gold very fast, so I don't really want to build a bunch of new units. We're kind of just defending right here for now. Um, Maybe I will build, and we can do that in our capital region, or that's the best place to do it. You can do it in all these other regions, and when I say do it, I mean create a military unit, but it's best usually to do it at your capital because it has the most military buildings, and that gives these troops various bonuses. So let's just do a regular infantry. You can see what it costs down here to build and what their stats are. It's not a great unit, but it's manpower out there, and we need to make sure that nobody comes and raids our capital again. That set us back just a little bit. So with all of that, I think we've done enough here. We could try to do some diplomacy. Uh, let's go to Massalia. Let's see if they want to do an alliance, and you can see all of the breakdown here. They do not. 0% chance you see all the way down to the bottom. Make peace with. I don't believe we're fighting them right now. Let me see here. Yeah, we are not. So that's going to tell us nothing. Offer a gift. Okay, that's one way you can increase this zero. Once we go to the diplomacy screen, it tells you what they think about you. Um, let's go back here. Yeah, it's Galai, Aquitani, and Parisi. That's who we're fighting. This is our war score, okay? That goes 0 to 100. We're in the, or it goes negative 100 to positive 100. We're in the green, so we're winning these wars, even if just slightly. Um, Yeah, I don't think I was going to try to see if they wanted to do some kind of alliance, maybe. We could offer them a gift, we could trade with them, but I don't really want to jump in with them. They're at war. No, they've got treaties. Okay, cooperation. They're at war with the Aquitani, so we're both, you know, doing that. They've got full cooperation here. Uh, that is not a complete alliance, but that is, stronger than just cooperation. And then war with Emporia, which is interesting. Emporia, Massalia took this over, but now the Emporians have spawned a new civilization over here, which will happen in this game. If you conquer a territory, but there's peoples just immigrate, they can then form their empire again in these new places that they go to. Okay, I think that's good enough. Nothing really else to do. We'll flip the turn and see what happens. Now, switching a lot of those citizens over to culture should help our decadence culture score start to improve. And so every turn, hopefully, we'll be able to put more citizens into culture. And here you see we moved up 2 in the rankings. Over here to the left, we're up to 76, 72nd place. Yes, 72nd place out of 76 different civilizations. So we're not exactly killing it, if you know what I mean. Um, okay, we're up to 6th place overall in the legacy ranking, which is kind of your scoreboard. We are up to 6th, so that's looking good. Now we don't even have half of what the Seleucids do, and Rome is also starting to build, as is Carthage, Sparta. Yeah, so they're quite a bit ahead of us for now. Now, what we have to hope is that Rome and Carthage fight each other, or Rome runs into some other problem, like the Raietae, which are building up here. Having disposed of his most powerful enemies, Vermina is now governing the Arverni unchallenged. Okay, so we have a new ruler. Our current or our past ruler, I guess he's past tense now. Our past ruler died. And so we get a new ruler randomly. There's nothing you can do to influence that. Let's view that ruler now. It will tell you the ruler's traits up here. He's a bad diplomat. Okay, we're not doing a whole lot of diplomacy, so that's not lethal here. Sometimes they can give you bonuses or penalties in military or commerce. Vermina has none of that. He is just sort of average, but a bad diplomat. Okay, we got a new pop out here. We can see that by that little icon. Um, that pop, let's move that one down to infrastructure so that we speed up the cattle pens. That does slow this down, but cattle pens are going to give us new food, so that's going to kind of even out as this builds. We've got cattle pens here still. No reason to really change anything there. Stud still happening. Now, what do we have here? Oh, okay. So this just goes into our leadership change that we just talked about. So you'll always get icons on these regions when something happens in that region that you should be aware of. And so once you get used to the game, you can kind of start really flipping around here and seeing, very quickly where you need to go look because we're playing and I'm trying to, kind of teach the game a little bit too, I'm going through every region, but once you get used to it, you can just kind of start going where these pop-ups are or these icons and figuring out what's going on. So we got a new pop here as well. Um, that all looks good. No reason to move that citizen. They always start out in food and then you can move them down as you see fit. We've got a new building here, so we did get the stud, and that will give us a bonus if, the two touching or three touching regions have something that need horses. We had something, but we didn't go look for it, but we know that that gave us a bonus in something. Now we can build a new building. Where are we at here? 4 of the 6 building slots are filled up. We could do that monument. We already talked about that. We could do a blacksmith, which gives us a little bit of everything. Training ground. Now we already have heavy infantry and Ambactus heavy infantry. We don't really have to have that. Public works, which does not take up a slot. Smokehouse, all right. And a ranch. So what should we do here? I think maybe really the blacksmith is the best. We get a bonus here. It will crank out some money and some metal. So I think we do that one. That looks good. We still have this epidemic up here in Aducha, lack of proper hygiene practices, and that's why you want to be building up your health if you can. So like the good drinking water that only takes one turn to build, that's why you would build it. It gives you less of a chance to get that, the skull of death. All right, this all looks good. Now I'm afraid if I move my army out of here, the Parisi are just going to march right down here. Although it looks like they're fighting the Belgi as well. How do I know that? Well, because this was their region, and now it's showing as a Belgi region. So they certainly must be fighting each other. Otherwise, the Belgi would not be taking their regions. What I was saying earlier is the Raietae. This is good to see, and it's also good to see Dalmatia building up so that the Romans maybe don't look our way first. They have to deal with this in the north, and they have to deal with this in the east. That would be good for us because the Romans are the one unstoppable force in this game. If they set their sights upon you, uh, look, we're going to try to build up as fast as we can. And if we can build and put all of Gaul together, maybe even modern day Belgium, Normandy up here, which is modern day, France, of course, as well, and maybe even get into Spain, modern day Spain, then maybe we'll have a chance. But right now, if the Romans come attack us, we have no real chance of stopping them. Now, I do think since the Parisii are occupied elsewhere, maybe we will come down here and try to take Aquitani very quickly before they can react. We'll see. It really sets you back when your regions get attacked and occupied. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully they're occupied to the north and they don't come south here. But we shall see. We shall see. All right. Well, I said last time we gained two. Now we've gone down two. We did not get another aging token. We had three last time. You just don't want to get to five. If we get five, it knocks us down a level. And the more levels you go down, the more the penalty will hurt. Um, Arverni, okay, well, we fell a little bit behind. We fell down to seventh place, darn it. That's all right. A new decision is available, emergency levy. We don't need an emergency levy, I don't believe. This would, we just click here. It would take 100 legacy points. We don't want that. That's, like I said, our scoreboard. If you ever want to know what decisions are available, you can just click on your map or on your flag up here, come down to decisions, and there you go. All right, let's keep moving our army. Now you see this pop is brown. We lost a pop for some reason. The physicians in Santonia were unable to cope with a deadly plague. Shoot. Well, that stinks. So we lost a pop. So we gained a pop last turn. We lose a pop this turn. That's unfortunate. But it is what it is. I mean, the only thing you can do about it is build buildings or building tiles that increase health. It gives you less of a risk of that happening. Um, okay, cattle pens, stud, those two are about built. Now, what do we have here? Rich citizens of Arvernia donated 50 money to the state. Well, that was kind of them. Most people complain about taxes. It seems like uh, it seems like our citizens love to pay taxes, but okay, that's fine. A donation to the treasury. I love it. Let's see. Let's go up here. We built a new building here. What did we get? We can always go over this. Hunter Lodge. Okay, we haven't really seen that one before. That one gives us 4 food. Uh, it also gives us adept natural archers, reduction in manpower cost by 35%. All right, that's good. Um, and it applies only to archers or skirmishers. Okay, so that's why it says conditional. It costs us less manpower to build archers and skirmishers now. Okay, well that's nice. That's a nice little bonus. We've filled up 2 of the 3 building slots because Public Works did not take up anything, and neither did clear water. So we've only used these 2. And let's go see what we could build now. We could do a gambling ring, a furnace, an armorer. Hmm, that gives us a lot of armor or equipment. We haven't talked a lot about this, but manpower and equipment are empire-wide. They're shared amongst all of your regions, even if you haven't turned them into a province. So equipment, when you go to build, your armies, it's going to draw equipment from all over. Now this is going to require leather, and so trading is required. So if we build this, our money -9, and that shows you how this trading works. Like it's not like you can turn off leather, like and say, no, I don't want you to trade for leather. If you build this building, you're assenting essentially to the game going out and acquiring leather at whatever the cost. So we probably don't want to build that. That's a real big money hit. Food and health here, a ranch, it produces cattle. I don't think we Oh, we do. Okay, this is our color. So these are two regions in our empire that are producing cattle, so we don't really need that. I don't like any of these for us now. So let's shuffle those. Okay, we've got a new building up here. Public Works does not take up a slot, so let's go on building. We could do a shepherd house, which would give us wool. Now we already have wool in our empire. We could do a smokehouse, which would give us some health benefits. Wood cutting produces lumber. I don't. It doesn't look like we have any lumber about. That might be nice to have. Okay. This is skirmisher cavalry training. Okay, it gives you 10 XPs when you create light cavalries or skirmisher, any kind of cavalries, it looks like. Another furnace we could do, or we could do an oration tribune, which gives you a loyalty bonus. We've already got pretty good loyalty here. Doesn't make sense. Let's do wood cutting. We don't have any wood in our empire, and so that could be beneficial down the road. What did we create here? We did Celtic craftsman, you see. So that did up our food and our infrastructure. We could do a loyalty bonus, although we have good loyalty here. We could do another slave market. We could do a palisade. Now that's something we haven't done, and I think we'll do it here. Why would we do it here? Well, let me explain. With a palisade, we just add more protection. It will build, this has walls to it. This will build, kind of a wooden wall. It protects this region from other armies. They don't automatically just fight you here. You can, go back into your palisade. My understanding is it also wards off raids to a certain extent. What happened down here? Duccio was raided by the Raietae, but the defense repelled easily the invaders. Well, that's good. We really don't need this region set back at all. Um, let's look at our breakdown of food and infrastructure where we got these new buildings. I didn't spend a lot of time doing that. Doesn't look like there's anything we need to really shift around, so I think we'll be all right. And let's hit next turn and see what happens. Now our army is coming down here. I think we're going to do what we can to take Aquitani. Oh, Aquitani actually just took this region. So they've been fighting Massalia, and it looks like, well, it's two regions against four. Oh, hey, we moved up one in our culture decadence table. We're now really starting to add quite a bit of gold. I'm trying to get up to 500 so we can start to disperse the slaves around our empire. Okay. Our army now has a combat value of 116, which is pretty good early in this game. It's more than any of our neighbors could muster, pretty much. We do have the A tour down here, Emporia. Is that? Yeah, this is the Emporian army. So they built here. But we're not at war with them right now. We might as well go after the Aquitani. Now I'm worried that their army is here, though. But if we go attack their capital, I think they will very quickly pivot and try to get home. Okay, what do we have? We just built a tavern. Excellent. Tavern, what does it do for us? Gives us a lot of money. We are importing wine. That's going to cost us 4. We maybe will need to think about creating our own vineyard in our empire, building that building tile when we see it. That way we won't be paying 4 anymore. We got a loyalty bonus out of this, but mainly quite a bit of money. So that's great. Now we go over here to build, we can't. Why is that? We've filled up 8 of our building slots. We're gonna have to wait for another pop. Now, what do you do when that happens? Well, you might as well move this guy out of infrastructure because it's not helping having him here because there's no building tile to build. And that's what infrastructure does. It speeds up or slows down the building of these building tiles. Well, there's nothing to build. So you might as well move him up to food and try to get another pop as fast as you can. So that's that. Let's go here. We did get a new pop here. All right, we've got plus 24 food, so we can move this pop down somewhere. Why don't we put it here? And as you see, just naturally from the building tiles we have, we're producing plus 19 food. Um, actually, this citizen might be better used here. That cuts down our building time to 3. That looks pretty good to me. I do want to add more culture, but we got to do what we got to do. Nothing more going on here. Larger structure proposals were reshuffled. We did that last turn. So let's see what our choices are this time. We could do hemp. Mm, okay. We could do an herbalist, which gives us some health and some manpower. Clay pit. No. Market. It's really not too great, but that's because we have this, it's under pacification for one more turn. I think this is probably the best choice, although we do need stone eventually. That's 10 turns though. Boy, that seems like a long time. Let's do the market. That will start cranking up a lot more money when when this region is not under pacification. Okay, this is telling us that winter will be next turn and that our ruler is already starting to decrease in health. That, whatever. He's pretty average. Stud has been completed here, so you see the horse, the stud there. Oh, we're producing a lot of food, so we can move this citizen down. We'll put him in culture, and we will look and see what we can build. We could build a granary, which is missing a bonus from grain. Now, you would think a granary maybe would produce grain. No, it only stores the grain. So this would give us 10 food. It does cost 4 infrastructure points every turn to maintain. It does give you siege resistance. Okay, we could do a Borvo shrine. You can read about that. A sawmill, which produces lumber and also cranks out 10 infrastructure each turn. That's pretty powerful. Epona shrine. This gives us equipment and culture. So it's kind of a shrine to horses, I guess. Crafter district. No slot usage. This is another of the Celtic special buildings here. So it gives us a commerce bonus, does not take up any slot, and gives us money. Fortune teller. What's best here? I. This is a really good producing region here. We're looking really good with food and infrastructure. Why don't we do Crafter District for now? Now, one reason I may have picked the sawmill is once you have 3, you start getting the level 2 of whatever that thing is in your choices. It gets mixed in there. You may not get a level 2 every time, but it does start to get mixed in there. Um, Okay, that all looks good to me. Let's move our army over here to the capital of Aquitani and see what the Aquitanians may do. Okay, they did have a little force here. We can view the battle. You can see here we outflanked them because Aquitania is a plains region. That means it's got a frontage of 14. They don't even have 14 units. We'll very quickly just go ahead and resolve here. We exhausted them with our skirmishers. We win that battle. We win that battle. We win that. We draw there a little bit. We win that one. So we just basically wipe out this whole army. That's excellent. And now we, would pursue them, but we killed all of their troops. There's nothing to pursue. You see the Red Skull, and I'm not talking about Marvel Comics here. That means they are destroyed. Those units are destroyed. So we've taken their capital now. Oh, and that was one of our objectives, and you could tell that because it had the little circle around it or was floating kind of above the land. That knocked out an aging token. Every time you take an objective, it knocks out one of your aging tokens. We're also starting to come up the chain here on culture and decadence. We went +4 that turn. We're starting to move up, and let's hope we can continue that. A new decision is available. Improve trade efficiency, increase trade acumen or range. What does this do? It costs less to import things. And how would we do that? Well, it gives you several choices, all of which cost gold. and some cost a lot of gold. You can set up relay stations, you can help land caravans, you can help merchant supremacy. You can read all of this um, and what it does. We're not to the point where we would invoke that decision at this point, so we're just going to leave it be. Um, Okay, here you see. Vermina is satisfied. Objective region Aquitania has been conquered by the armies of Arverne, +1 progress tokens. Now you'll always have at least one objective, sometimes two. Where are they? How can you tell what they are? Well, here's our new one. And I have a feeling it's down in these messages. He will tell us what our new one is. Does he here, actually, though? No, but you can always go find it, I think, under your flag, maybe objectives. There we go. It will tell you what your objectives are, and the ones you have, the ones you could go get if you want. If you want to, if you want to spend the manpower to try to go get it, but you can also tell them by these red kind of floating discs. Those are your objectives. What else did it say here? Our armies marched through Aquitania. Okay, a battle has been fought. It was a great victory. We plundered their treasury for all of 3 gold pieces. Wow, how exciting. Okay, let's go to this neighboring region and straight through here and try to take all of this out. Here you see another objective if we take that. We have a new building here. That's cattle pens. Excellent. I think we can safely move one down here, one citizen and still have 15 and 15 left. What else do we have here? Flaxfield, Borvo. Oh, okay. Celtic Craftsman's always a good one to take because it doesn't take up a slot. Let's do that. What's going on in our capital? There's a new population here. Okay, so we got a new pop. And then it shows us that decision we could have made. We've got this new pop. He's up here. He can go down to culture. We don't need that much food production to keep growing at a decent clip. Anything between 5 and 10 turns, a pretty decent clip. We're going to keep these two here for now until tools gets built. This is a very powerful building slot, actually, tools is, so that's great. Um, Aducia saw an invasion by Raietae. The local forces crushed the invaders. These are just raids. They're not actual declarations of war, although we are at war with the Galai, but here they just raided. We have not been doing that. We haven't really had a need to, but you can do that without a declaration of war. A palisade has been completed in Jura, and as you see, as we scoot in here, you can see the palisade. Here we've got stone walls. Here, that's what a palisade looks like. So now we can build something else. What do we have here? City walls. Okay, so you can build up, these walls and really, make a nice fortress if you want to. Street parlor, crafter district. We've seen some of these before. Lumber mill, salt house, stud. Yeah, I'm not sure I love any of these. They're not anything we necessarily need. I don't mind building the walls. Why don't we do that? It's not going to take up a slot. It gives us a siege resist, gives us a garrison, and because it's on the border here, it's right up here on the border. I kind of like that. Let's build up our walls down there. It may be a little wasteful. We could probably still be cranking out food and infrastructure, but I do like to have another built-up place. Now we have one here, the former capital of the Adusha, but let's do one more. Should I do that? Actually, thinking about this, thinking with Palisades, that might be enough. Okay, changed my mind. I changed my mind. I'm allowed to do that, aren't I? Salt House would cost a ton of money. And why is that? Because it needs salt. Trading required. All right, Crafter District, always a good one to take. Um, it takes no slot. Here we go. There we go. Takes no slot, gives you a commerce bonus. So in other words, a plus 10% uh, bonus on money gives you extra money, and it only takes one upkeep for the infrastructure. So just it's not that expensive. All right, let's resolve this turn and see what happens. We're up to 270 BC. And this is the new capital of the Aquitani. They do have a general here. We absolutely outclass them, but this will be a smaller battlefield, but we still flank them, which is almost always results in a victory if you flank them. So we'll just kind of fast forward through here. You can see us destroying their units. All right, all right. We won the battle. We killed all of their units. Um, yeah, you see that there? Complete wipeout. And we've taken another. Oh, shoot. But now the Galai have come down here into one of our regions. And we're going to be in trouble. And yes, we are. They took one of our regions. All right, so that really opens up a question of what we should do next. I think we should march north and try to deal with them, but that gives the Aquitani a chance to respond to us here. I was hoping to take all of Aquitania before that happened, but we have not. But I'm going to leave that for next episode. We will, I think, march north here. We could possibly start building a second army, because we are on two fronts, right? Well, hell, we're on three fronts, really. We got it from the north. We could start to get it from the east, and we have it from the southwest. When I say have it, that is, a potential wars that are brewing. So, we've kind of got to maybe build a second army, but I'm really trying to get this up to 500 before we start spending gold. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I really, really love this game. I hope this helps maybe get you into it a little bit. It's a lot of fun. It's very well done. It's sort of like Civilization. I think it's right now anyway, at least in my mind, maybe a little more enjoyable than Imperator Rome, although Imperator Rome has come a long way with the new update, I will say. But if you like Roman history, you like this time period, this game is really a great one, I think. So anyway, this is Strategy Gaming Dojo, and I hope you come back for the next episode. And thank you so much. As always, I'll talk to you next time.